equation.
Thank you. Thorsten, please.
If you talk in such critical way, I would like to ask you, do you see climate change or sustainable development not just as a market which has been developed by some people for business reasons? Is this discussion on sustainable development, SCP and climate change, is this not just another business, a global business? Is it not an artificial market what you are creating?
Okay, thank you for this question, because I really wanted to give the answer that I will give. The problem is real. The problems we have with the limited resources is something real. I mean, it's not coming out of the mind of the economists. And the problem with climate change is also real. At least, I mean, I'm a believer in the IPCC, in the International Panel on Climate Change, and I do believe the assessment. And despite the big speculation of the last 1 year, I do believe that credibly today we know that climate change is happening. Now, the economists took the opportunity to create markets out of this. And I don't think it's entirely bad, because probably some markets are serving a good reason. But I do fundamentally disagree with the approach of assigning prices to everything, every environmental good, and with the assumption that by assigning prices we will solve the problem. So in a nutshell, the problem is there. The markets were created because economics is part of our daily life. So it was a kind of natural evolution that the market will be created. These markets are having the huge problems that any possible market have, and if we want to change them, we need a change on the mentality and the mindset.
Thank you.
I just want to
yes, please.
to make one to explain something. My training as an economist was on neoclassical economics. So because many people, they ask me, okay, you don't understand neoclassical economics and this is why you criticize them. Unfortunately, I studied them for many years, and if you see my PhD was full of models, and it was a very nice thing that everybody applauding me. So it's after I studied them I understand why they are completely wrong.
So there was a change. That's good. Dr. Bachmann, please, the last questions.
I'm happy to tell you that I'm not
an
economist. But I think I would like to challenge you on the last 3 lines that you put on your slide. You tell us that we should all challenge the mainstream arguments, free trade is better, it's always better than protection, and private is better than public. Do you suggest that the opposite is true? Would you please comment on this in respect to the UNEP Green Economy paper or program, whatever you have in store there? I heard a couple of talks about the UNEP Green Economy approach, and for me, simply the opposite of private is better than public is not true. It can be the case that public is better than private, but it can also be the opposite. And where would you see a benchmark for deciding the right way?
I think you gave yourself the answer also. I do not support that the opposite is always good, but I say that we need the kind of balance, and sometimes private is better, sometimes public is better. Sometimes free trade could work. I mean, free trade on electronics, on things like this could be the best solution. But I'm not sure if free trade is the best solution on timber. I'm not sure if free trade is the best solution on limited natural resources. And I'm not sure, no, I will say I'm not at all convinced that market prices are always better when it comes to a scarce resource. What I'm saying is that it's a case-by-case approach. We cannot make some dogmatic statements and say that private is always better than public. And when I say challenge, the challenge is don't try to make a revolution, but anytime you are listening to this, try to see if it applies on your specific case, on your specific environment. When it comes to the UNEP Green Economy work and UNEP Green Economy initiative, and allow me here to give a small explanation about the green jobs, at least as the green jobs is understood by the UN system. Green jobs are just jobs in green sectors, and it's not any diversification that there are good jobs like green jobs and bad jobs as brown jobs. All jobs are good because people need jobs and people need to work. The UNEP Green Economy initiative says one simple thing: put more money on green sectors, and do not believe another dogmatic idea that's coming from the mainstream economics, that investments on environment are not economic efficient. Actually they are. Again, just to make myself clear, when I say challenge, I mean review, evaluate, and take the right decision, and don't work as a religious organization saying that this is my dogma.
Thank you. A very last question, please, Darren Swanson.
Thank you very much. Very, very interesting. I trained originally as an environmental engineer and consulted for a good decade with that sort of mental map. And I had the tug of seeing I needed more perspective, more tools. So I went back and studied neoclassical economics at Harvard University. And now I've practiced for close to a decade in sustainable development with sort of this improved perspective on the environment and the economy. And at this point, after, well, I guess close to 20 years now, frightened by my lack of a conceptual model of sustainable development that really does merge economic, social, and environmental perspectives. So I work every day as a sustainable development practitioner, but I don't really have a clear mental conceptual map, and you're describing some of the sort of the complexities behind the whole big picture. What, in your view, is the current best discourse or discourses that are painting the economics 2.0 picture that can help people out that are trying to be practitioners of sustainable development? Or is it just too complex that it'll take another 100 years to really sort out a sort of an economics 2.0 that really gets the whole picture? What's your outlook?
I don't think it's too complex. I think it's relatively easy. I mean, if we consider what science as an institution has done, resolving this problem, I think it's fairly easy. I see the solution coming from a combination of three things. The one is dynamic models. We need dynamic models, and you know, economists knew that by using linear models they are making a huge mistake. It was about 100 years ago that Jevons said that if we could use dynamic models, we would have solved the problem better. But it's so convenient, and I have the quote. Unfortunately, I didn't put it here, of Jevons, and I didn't put it here because it's not a technical audience. Second, behavioral study. We should go a little bit back to the Austrian school of economics and see economics as a behavioral art and not as a formal science. And the third thing is that I don't feel very comfortable to say this, but I have to say it. We have to say no to some models, by definition. I mean, the GE model is fundamentally a mistake. So by trying to correct the GE model, we make it more complex and we add more complexity. We need to start from scratch. And the scratch is this combination of behavioral